Hi, we're the Commodores.
From chart-topping hits to behind-the-scenes turmoil, the story of the Commodores is one of triumph, heartbreak, and resilience. How did the iconic group that gave us timeless classics like Easy and Brick House face tragedy and turmoil that changed their lives forever? Stay tuned as we uncover the highs, lows, and untold struggles of the Commodores. The Commodores were undeniably one of the biggest names in soul music during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Before achieving stardom, however, they were just a group of college friends united by their love for music. Originating from Tuskegee University in Alabama, the band was formed by merging two student groups, the Mystics and the Jays. Among the members of the Mystics were Lionel Richie, Thomas McCleary, and William King. It all began when Thomas McCleary, standing in a registration line at Tuskegee, overheard someone whistling a jazz tune by Eddie Harris. Intrigued, he turned around to ask, "Are you a musician?" The shy young man, Lionel Richie, modestly replied, "Not really." But when McCleary expressed his intent to form a band for the freshman talent show, Richie offered to gather a few guys at his grandmother's house across the street. To McCleary's surprise, Richie appeared at the meeting playing a saxophone. "I thought you said you weren't a musician," McCleary exclaimed, to which Richie humbly replied, "I just play a little." From that moment, McCleary knew Richie was a perfect fit. The band performed at the talent show and, to their astonishment, won. Without their own equipment, they borrowed from another campus band, the Jays. Later, as some Jays members graduated, the two groups merged. The newly united band needed a fresh name, and William King stumbled upon Commodore while flipping through a dictionary. Lucky for them, he joked, the name could have been far less appealing, like Commodores. In those early days, they were driven by passion. Thomas McCleary recalled long drives to New York, fueled by dreams of performing, but first, they had to convince Richie's grandmother to let him join them. Richie was supposed to take a job at a bomb factory in Joliet, Illinois, but after promising her to stay away from drugs and alcohol, they hit the road. Their journey was far from smooth. They ran out of money on the New Jersey Turnpike and couldn't pay the toll. A compassionate toll collector let them pass, remarking, "If you had money, you'd have rented a U-Haul." Their troubles didn't end there. At the YMCA in New York, their music equipment was stolen, leaving them desperate. A chance encounter at Small's Paradise in Harlem changed their fortune when Benny Ashburn lent them $50 to retrieve their stolen equipment. Ashburn became their manager and helped them secure an audition at Small's, where their dynamic, dance-infused performance wowed the audience. Through Ashburn, they connected with Suzanne DePasse, a Motown executive who had worked with the Jackson 5. She arranged for the Commodores to open for the Jackson 5 on tour, a 2-year opportunity that skyrocketed their popularity. Their talent earned them a recording deal with Motown, launching their successful career. The Commodores' instrumental hit machine became a sensation, frequently played at sports events and featured in movies like Boogie Nights. Hits like Brick House and Easy cemented their status as legends. They even appeared in the film Thank God It's Friday, performing Too Hot to Trot during a dance contest. Despite their success, cracks began to show when Lionel Richie pursued a solo career. Initially, he intended only to take a break, but his solo projects, fueled by hits like All Night Long and Endless Love, kept him from returning. William King expressed frustration, stating that Richie's repeated promises to return left the group in limbo. Promoters refused to book the Commodores without Richie, which strained the group's momentum. King illustrated the magnitude of the situation with a powerful analogy. He posed the question, would anyone book the Beatles without Paul McCartney? To the Commodores, Lionel Richie was their equivalent of McCartney, a pivotal figure in their music and identity. However, instead of making a definitive exit or directly informing the group of his intentions, Richie left them in uncertainty. Eventually, the band decided to proceed without him, but the process was fraught with tension. Richie later explained in interviews that he hadn't intended to leave the group in limbo. Initially, he genuinely believed he would return. Yet, as he delved into solo projects, he discovered a newfound sense of independence and creative freedom, making it difficult to rejoin the group. From King's perspective, however, the prolonged indecision was difficult to forgive. When asked about the possibility of reuniting the Commodores, King expressed both hope and frustration, saying, "Oh, absolutely. I've been trying to make this happen for 30 years." Reflecting on Richie's departure, King noted how it significantly impacted the band's trajectory. At first, the Commodores believed they could sustain their success without Richie. Having collaborated for years, the group attributed their signature sound to collective efforts. However, the public largely viewed Richie as the driving force behind their hits, assuming he was responsible for producing, arranging, and writing their most popular songs. Although Richie played a major role in the band's creative process, the contributions of other members were overshadowed in the eyes of fans. Consequently, his departure dealt a blow to the Commodores' popularity and financial standing. Thomas McCleary, another founding member, offered a candid perspective on the internal conflicts. He acknowledged Richie's immense talent, stating, "Lionel is incredibly gifted, with a remarkable voice and songwriting ability." McCleary also criticized the dynamics within the group, pointing out that William King often created friction, which was exacerbated by Walter Orange's tendency to align with King. Despite these challenges, McCleary remained enthusiastic about the idea of a reunion, recalling instances when Richie invited him and bassist Ronald Lappard to perform together. He shared, "In New Zealand and New Orleans, fans were thrilled to see us together again. 65,000 people showed up at one event. Clearly, there's still a strong desire for a reunion." In 2009, Richie proposed a performance at the Essence Music Festival, but lingering resentment among some members thwarted the effort. McCleary lamented the long-standing bitterness, remarking, "Some haven't spoken to Lionel in 40 years. It's time to let go of the past." After Richie's departure, the Commodores introduced Skylar Jett as a co-lead vocalist. Not long after, McCleary also left, pursuing a solo career and establishing a gospel music company. Reflecting on his decision, McCleary cited diminishing enthusiasm among some members and the profound loss of their longtime manager, Benny Ashburn. He likened the situation to a sports team losing its momentum, emphasizing the importance of collective commitment to success. After leaving the Commodores, McCleary collaborated with Richie on projects for artists like Kenny Rogers and Diana Ross, including the iconic song "Endless Love." Meanwhile, the Commodores underwent further changes. Sheldon Reynolds replaced McCleary, but soon departed to join Earth, Wind, and Fire. This left the band without a guitarist, prompting William "Wack" King to fill the role during live performances. Another major turning point came with the departure of Milan Williams, the band's keyboardist. Before leaving, Williams survived a harrowing incident when his single-engine plane crash-landed on a freeway in Phoenix, Arizona. Although he and a press agent escaped unscathed, the plane was destroyed. Williams' decision to leave the group was rooted in his moral convictions. He refused to perform in South Africa during apartheid, a stance that caused tension within the band but earned respect for his principles. His departure marked the end of the original lineup, and the Commodores began transitioning away from the funk style that had defined their early success. Tragically, Williams was diagnosed with leukemia in later years and passed away in 2006, leaving fans and former bandmates grieving the loss of a key figure in the group's legacy. The Commodores faced additional challenges as other members, like Ronald Lappard, pursued different paths. Lappard relocated to New Zealand, and the band struggled to maintain its original spirit. Financial and legal disputes further complicated their history, particularly regarding the use of the Commodores name. In 2013, McCleary began performing under the Commodores name with a new band, leading to legal battles with King and Orange, who continued to tour with other musicians under the same name. These conflicts not only created confusion among fans, but also underscored the deep fractures within the group. In 2018, a Florida court delivered a landmark ruling in favor of the remaining active members of the Commodores, affirming their exclusive right to use the iconic band's name. The decision hinged on two key factors. First, the court recognized that the members who continued to perform together as the Commodores had established common law trademark rights to the name through their ongoing use and representation of the group. Second, historical agreements among the members revealed that ownership of the band's name was collectively shared. However, The terms did not grant any single member the right to use it independently if they parted ways with the group. As a result, Thomas McCleary was allowed to identify himself as a founding member of the Commodores, but was prohibited from leveraging the name to promote his own endeavors. For instance, he could not advertise his band as the Commodores featuring Thomas McCleary or use titles like the 2014 Commodores, as such practices could mislead fans about which group they were supporting. Over the years, the Commodores' music evolved from their original funk-driven sound to a more mainstream pop style. In 1984, the band welcomed James Dean J.D. Nicholas as a co-lead vocalist alongside drummer Walter Clyde Orange. Despite a period of diminished chart success, the group rebounded in 1985 with the release of their final album under Motown Records, Night Shift. The title track, a heartfelt tribute to the late Marvin Gaye and Jackie Wilson, became a commercial triumph, peaking at number 3 in the U.S. and securing a Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals. Although this shift toward pop appealed to a broader audience, it alienated some loyal fans who yearned for the vibrant, funky energy that initially defined the band. This transformation wasn't solely a creative decision by the band. The rapidly evolving music industry of the 1980s and 1990s played a significant role. With the emergence of digital music and changing listener habits, record labels pushed bands like the Commodores to adapt their sound to align with popular trends. This presented a delicate balancing act, maintaining the allegiance of their longtime supporters while appealing to new audiences. For some older fans, this shift felt like a departure from the group's essence, while curious newcomers found the updated style intriguing. In 2010, the Commodores revisited their classic hit Night Shift to honor Michael Jackson, who had passed away in 2009. The idea was sparked during a European tour when the band received the tragic news of Jackson's death shortly before performing at Wembley Arena in London. Initially, they thought it was a rumor, but the confirmation left them deeply affected. At their next concert in Birmingham, lead singer J.D. Nicholas improvised by incorporating Jackson's name into the song's lyrics as a tribute. The emotional response from fans inspired the band to re-record Night Shift with updated lyrics to commemorate Jackson on the first anniversary of his death. The revised version also acknowledged other R&B legends who had passed, blending nostalgia with reverence. The Commodores' musical journey has been shaped by the influence of legendary artists like Santana, Jimi Hendrix, Albert King, James Taylor, and Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Drawing inspiration from these icons, the band sought to create a distinctive sound that blended raw authenticity with universal appeal. Their creative efforts resulted in phenomenal success, with over 70 million albums sold worldwide. The Commodores' timeless melodies and captivating rhythms have earned them widespread acclaim, including inductions into the Alabama Music Hall of Fame and the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. Additionally, their work has garnered 9 Grammy nominations, with one win further solidifying their legacy. As of 2020, the Commodores continued to perform actively, featuring core members Walter Clyde Orange, J.D. Nicholas, and William What King, supported by a talented 5-piece ensemble known as the Mean Machine. Together, they brought their music to life at venues ranging from arenas to festivals, ensuring their legacy resonated with audiences of all generations. Through the ups and downs, the Commodores have remained committed to honoring their roots while celebrating the legends who paved the way for their enduring success. The Commodores' journey reminds us that even legends face trials and heartbreak behind the glitz and glamour. Their timeless music and enduring legacy have left an indelible mark on the world, proving that their story is far from over. If you've been moved by their story, hit like, share your favorite Commodores memory in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives into music's most fascinating stories. Until next time, keep the music alive,